You know exactly who you are. You're pulling up to your house with a trunk full of groceries. Instead of doing the normal, rational thing and making 2 or 3 trips, you decide to loop 15 plastic bags around your wrists. You are cutting off the blood circulation to your hands. You are holding your keys in your teeth. You are kicking the car door shut like a ninja. Your neighbor walks by and says, "Hey, need a hand with that?" And what do you say? Through a mouthful of keys, with purple hands and a collapsing spine, you mumble, "Nope, I got it. Totally fine." You would literally rather risk a major spinal injury than accept 5 seconds of assistance from another human being. We laugh about it. We call it being stubborn. We joke about the people who refuse to ask for directions, or the people who would rather build an IKEA wardrobe backward, tear it apart, and build it again, rather than ask someone to hold a single piece of wood. But if we peel back the layers, it stops being funny very quickly. Because refusing to ask for help isn't a quirky personality trait. It's not a sign of a strong work ethic. It is a psychological survival mechanism. And if you are someone who physically cringes at the idea of saying, "I can't do this alone," your brain is hiding a very dark, very exhausting secret from you. Welcome back to Brain Psyche. Today, we are talking about the dark side of being the strong one. Psychology has a term for this behavior. It's called hyper-independence. Now, normal independence is great. Normal independence means you can pay your taxes, cook a meal, and survive a weekend alone without calling your mom in a panic. But hyper-independence is a completely different beast. Hyper-independence is an extreme, almost phobic avoidance of relying on anyone else. To a hyper-independent person, the phrase, "Can you help me?" feels like a spell that will summon a demon. It feels physically uncomfortable to say. Why? Because your brain views reliance as a life-threatening vulnerability. Think back to school group projects. When the teacher said, "Form groups of 4, your soul probably left your body. You knew exactly how it was going to play out. You were going to do 95% of the work, format the PowerPoint, write the speech, and let 3 other people put their names on it. Not because you were a control freak, okay? Maybe a little bit of a control freak, but because you fundamentally believed that if you didn't do it yourself, it would be a disaster. You have a core belief hardwired into your nervous system: people will inevitably let you down, so it is safer to just do it yourself. But nobody is born this way. Babies are practically designed to be helpless and scream until someone fixes their life. So, what happened to you? This is where the psychology gets a little dark. Hyperindependence is almost always a trauma response. Now, when I say trauma, you might picture something out of an action movie. But psychology recognizes small t trauma. Maybe you grew up in a house where asking for help came with a massive emotional price tag. If you asked for a favor, you were suddenly hit with a guilt trip. "I do everything for you. Do you know how much I sacrifice?" Your brain quickly learned, "Okay, noted, help is not free. Help is a weapon they will use against me later. I will never ask for anything ever again." Or maybe you grew up with parents who were just emotionally unavailable. They were dealing with their own mess. When you fell down or needed something, they were either too stressed, too busy, or too overwhelmed to care. So, as a kid, you had a board meeting in your brain. Your amygdala sat down with your prefrontal cortex and said, "Listen, guys, management is out to lunch. If we rely on these adults, we are going to die. From now on, our new company policy is, we handle our own garbage." You became a tiny adult. You figured out how to make your own breakfast. You hid your bad grades so you wouldn't cause a scene. You internalized your sadness. Your brain literally rewired its attachment style. Psychologists call this dismissive-avoidant attachment. You learned that emotional safety equals isolation. You convinced yourself that you don't need anyone, which is a fantastic defense mechanism when you are 10 years old. The problem is, you are an adult now, and you are still running that same outdated software. And here is the most ironic, deeply unfair part of being hyper-independent. You are probably the most reliable person in your friend group. You are the strong friend. You are the one people call at 2 a.m. when their life is falling apart. You listen to their drama. You help them move out of their terrible apartments. You give them brilliant advice. You are a free, unlicensed therapist for everyone you know. But what happens when your life falls apart? What happens when you get a flat tire, or you go through a brutal breakup, or you are just so overwhelmed with work that you want to crawl under your desk and cry? You go completely silent. You ghost your group chats. You isolate. If someone asks, "How are you?" you instantly put on your customer service voice and say, "I'm hanging in there. Just super busy." Meanwhile, behind the scenes, you are desperately duct taping your sanity together. Why do you do this? Because of a deep psychological fear of being a burden. You think that if you show the people you love that you are messy, or needy, or failing, they will realize you aren't the strong friend anymore. And if you aren't the strong friend, what value do you actually have to them? Will they leave? So, you suffer in silence. You let people think you have your life completely figured out, but secretly, you are exhausted. You are carrying a massive invisible backpack full of bricks, and you are terrified that if you ask someone to hold just one brick for 5 seconds, they will drop it on your foot and walk away. But here is the reality check. Your brain might think it's protecting you, but your body is keeping the score. We as human beings are not biologically designed to be lone wolves. For thousands of years, our survival depended on the tribe. If you got sick, the tribe fed you. If you needed to hunt, the tribe helped you. When you refuse to let anyone help you, you are constantly forcing your nervous system into a state of low-grade fight or flight. Your brain is constantly scanning the horizon, managing every detail, predicting every outcome, because it believes you are the only one on guard duty. This causes your body to chronically leak cortisol, the stress hormone. This is why hyper-independent people have incredibly high rates of burnout, chronic fatigue, muscle tension, and insomnia. You literally cannot sleep properly because your brain refuses to hand the steering wheel over to anyone else, even the Sandman. You are trying to run a marathon while holding your breath, and you're wondering why you feel like you're dying. It's not because you aren't strong enough. It's because you were never meant to carry it all. How do we fix a brain that is terrified of being helped? You don't cure hyperindependence by suddenly spilling your deepest, darkest traumas to a barista. You cure it through what psychologists call exposure therapy. You have to teach your nervous system that asking for help will not result in the world ending. Start ridiculously small. Next time you are at the grocery store and you can't find the peanut butter, do not spend 20 minutes wandering the aisles like a lost pioneer. Ask a terrifying question. "Excuse me, where is the peanut butter?" When your coworker asks if you need help with a project, instead of your knee-jerk "I got it," try taking a breath and saying, "Actually, yes. Could you review this one document for me?" And here is the ultimate secret that hyper-independent people never realize. Letting people help you is actually a gift you give to them. Think about how good it feels when you help your friends. It gives you purpose, right? It makes you feel valued. When you refuse to ever let anyone help you, you are actually robbing the people who love you of the chance to show up for you. You are keeping them at arm's length. Vulnerability is the only bridge to actual connection. You don't have to carry all 15 grocery bags at once. You don't have to be the strong friend every single day. Let someone hold the door for you. Let someone buy you a coffee. Let someone in. Because the strongest thing a person can ever do is admit they can't do it all alone.